Okay, I want to talk about Indiana some more because they're doing a fantastic job reloading for 2025. I mentioned how Indiana loses a lot, right? A lot of transfers, a lot of senior transfers, a lot of seniors across the board. There's a few position groups that I think are totally fine, and there's a lot more position groups that I think are having significant issues, just in terms of the fact that they lose a lot to graduation of the transfer portal. But then I want to talk about what Indiana has done already in the blink of an eye before a champion has even been crowned. What has Indiana done already to reload those pieces and rebuild those position groups and prepare for a 2025 season that looms? Cornerback is totally fine. D'Angelo Pons is going to be back. Jameer Johnson is going to be back. I'm not worried about corner at all. Receiver, in my opinion, is largely going to be fine. Miles Cross and Miles Price are gone, but Elijah Surratt, number one receiver, he's back. Omar Cooper Jr. had some great moments throughout this past season. He will return. Mekhi Jackson comes in from the transfer portal from Appalachian State. He's going to be a major piece, and I think that he, right away, fills in for those lost receivers and fills in for that lost talent and really fills out this room and allows Mendoza now to have some multiple strong quarterback opportunity or strong receiving options, right? And strong receivers to throw to. The position groups that I was most worried about were quarterback, which is obviously totally fine now. Top two quarterbacks bounced to the transfer portal in graduation. It was just Tyler Cherry and Alberto Mendoza until Fernando Mendoza arrives, and now quarterback is totally fine. That's squared away. Running back. This one was squared away as well in the transfer portal already, but Justice Ellison and Tyson Lawton both graduating. That's 90% of their rushing production. They're both gone, but they reloaded, and we're going to talk about that in a second. The front seven was a concern as well. Aiden Fisher would be the only returning starter on the front seven. The entire starting D line has been gutted. So the question now for IU is how have they utilized the transfer portal so far? Quarterback has been fully replaced, right? We talked about that earlier. Fernando Mendoza is equal to or better than Rourke, 3,000 yards, 16 touchdowns at Cal. He comes in, quarterback squared away, right? So major issue at quarterback, alarm bells, so their top two guys leave right away, refilled and reloaded by Fernando Mendoza. The running back room, in my opinion, is fully rebuilt as well. We see Lee Beebe transfer in from UAB. He was a third-team All-AAC player. He had 884 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's joined by Roman Hemby, who comes in from Maryland. He scored twice against the Hoosiers in Bloomington this past September. He had 607 yards and 6 touchdowns and led the Maryland RB room there. So right away, starting number one Big Ten running back in Roman Hemby. We have a very strong group of 5 running back in Lee Beebe as well. I hope that they're going to be able to effectively replace and refill the running back position that is vacated by Justice Ellison and Tyson Lawton. The interior defensive line was largely rebuilt. Hosea Wheeler is going to transfer in from Western Kentucky. He was highly coveted and tackles the best out of all of the defensive tackles in the Conference USA. Dominique Ratcliffe transfers in from Texas State as well. So the interior defensive line, defensive tackle, nose tackle, they should be totally fine. Safety was partially rebuilt. Indiana lost a lot of safeties, almost all safeties on the roster, at least on the traveling roster across the board. Luis Moore is coming back from Ole Miss. So he was in junior college. He came to IU. He transferred to Ole Miss and now is transferring back to Indiana for his final couple seasons there. So Luis Moore is back at safety. They also, Indiana, added some depth to some pieces to some positions that I would argue are already filled or already going to be fine, right? Cornerback is improved by Amarian Knighton from Northern Illinois. He had the interception that set up the scoring drive for the game-winning drive for Northern Illinois against Notre Dame earlier in the season. He comes in from NIU, so that makes the cornerback room one of the most proficient areas of this team. D'Angelo Pons is coming back, Jameer Johnson, and Amarian Knighton. That is a star-studded room. Corner will not be an issue for the Hoosiers in 2025. The receiver room, bolstered by Mekhi Jackson from Appalachian State, right? That's a big one. Tight ends is accentuated by Riley Nowakowski coming from Wisconsin as well. So plenty of pass catchers for Mendoza to choose from. Cornerbacks should be totally fine. And honestly, the cornerback room just gets better from IU from one year to the next. The running back room should be rebuilt. The quarterback room should be replaced. The interior defensive line should be fine. There's a couple areas that I think still need to be addressed. I'd like another piece in the secondary. I don't think that there's enough safety talent on the team right now. So watch that in the transfer portal. We should get another safety, and edge rusher is another position that could use some work, right? Interior defensive line was rebuilt, but the edge rusher positions are still a little bit lackluster. No transfers coming in there. Sure, maybe the second string, third string guys on this team already are capable, but I would like to see some more high quality ads in the secondary, primarily at safety and at edge rusher for IU. But across the board, already they have been reloading very, very effectively. They've done a fantastic job. Cignetti really is developing a program with longevity and long-term solutions for the Hoosiers moving forward. Quarterback will be fine. Running back will be fine. Interior defensive line will be fine. Cornerback will be totally fine. The receiver will be fine, in my opinion. Across the board, Indiana is prepared to running back in 2025. They've got a tough schedule there. They've got 2 tough games, at Oregon and at Penn State. We're looking to see if they can add some Power 5 transfers rather than primarily Group of 5 transfers last year, and really build up a roster, especially through those recruiting classes that are only going to improve, build up a roster that's capable of going back to the playoffs, potentially going to a Big Ten championship game, maybe winning the Big Ten championship game or at least one game in the playoffs. That's the next step for Cignetti. But next year, 2025, is really about proving that he can maintain that level of success, going 11-2, something like that. 10-3 would be totally fine. 10-2, of course, at the end of the regular season would be certainly enough and certainly would suffice for the Hoosiers. 2025 isn't necessarily about elevating yet. I would say 2025 is about proving that they can maintain that high level of success as they did in 2024. And then 2026, Mendoza's second year, and a lot of these transfers having multiple years of eligibility left, provides Cignetti and Indiana an opportunity to make 2026 the year of elevation as they try to turn themselves into a juggernaut like Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, something like that. It's crazy that we're talking about Indiana in that light, but we are, and I'm excited to see if they're able to make these theories, make these projections, make these potential ideas a reality as 2025 approaches.